Hello. So, tragedy has struck Australia, unfortunately, as everybody knows. The deadliest mass shooting since Port Arthur happened in Australia at Bondi Beach. Obviously, it's totally devastating, and my heart goes out to the victims. I really don't even know what to say, especially to that 10-year-old girl who passed away and the other children that are in hospital, but also to the adults. A disturbing part of this shooting is that it seems to be, to me at least, maybe the most videoed shooting to ever happen. There's maybe a dozen different angles of it taking place. Obviously, I won't be playing anything graphic. I'm not going to be playing much at all. But there are a couple of notable clips I wanted to look at. Most importantly, the total heroic action that took place by Ahmed El Ahmed, who obviously, quite poetically, is a Muslim man, a fruit stand owner, evidently in Bondi, who tackled the gunman. Well, one of the two. Obviously, there were two, father and son. And Ahmed, unarmed, moves in to tackle the gunman. So we'll watch this. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but I never get tired of watching this clip. Absolute chills. I mean, he's literally, the soldier jumping on the grenade to save his comrades, essentially. There's nothing more heroic than that. So, the dude is an absolute certified hero and should get a freaking holiday in his honor. An interesting aspect of this is, of course, the fact that he was able to do this, which immediately my impression is that a large part of the reason he was able to disarm him is actually because of the Australian gun laws. Gun control in Australia, relatively strict. A lot of people are looking at this event and saying, it's a fail, that the gun laws failed. But it is interesting to me that this is an example. You wouldn't be able to just rip away a short-barreled assault rifle from somebody. And especially, these are not semi-automatic weapons. So he was able to time in between shots and go up and absolutely heroically bear hug this dude and disarm him like an absolute badass. And evidently the weapon that was disarmed from the terrorist was this Mossberg shotgun. The other weapon that was used was this long barrel Beretta with an optic on it. Although from what I was reading, I guess the dad or the son, I don't know, I don't want to say false things, but they had 6 guns registered to them and maybe they're at the crime scene. I'm not sure. There's another moment that I've watched all the clips. So, I mean, there's even drone footage of this happening. It's very weird. It's all of this is extremely bizarre. I mean, first of all, this event even taking place in Australia, very tragic, but also bizarre, considering the gun laws. It's a very rare event, but also the amount of footage of the event, and then what happens in the footage at certain points. I mean, I'm going to play this because I haven't seen anyone else really talk about it. I mean, maybe they are, I don't know. But this is at the end. Both shooters have been neutralized. Of course, one was still alive, but they didn't know that at this point, evidently, as you're about to see. This man in the white is just a pedestrian. He's a pedestrian. Here, let me fix this. He's a pedestrian that immediately after the second shooter is neutralized just goes onto the bridge and starts flagging down police, I guess. I mean, I guess it's a bit of a heroic thing to do, but also it's just a little bit baffling. I mean, we did find out that one of the gunmen is still alive at this point, so. But far more baffling is that then you see this man down here run up the stairs for whatever reason. He's not a gunman, and he just puts his arms up in the air, and he actually gets shot at by police. 1 bullet, as you'll hear. It does not hit him, thank God. But totally bizarre. So just, and then, I mean, this is just the beginning of the chaos. I'm not going to play any more, but after this, people are running up and kicking the suspects on the ground, which, I mean, I can't really blame them for that. But just a totally bizarre scene, and to have it all caught on footage is just dystopian, I guess, but also just weird. This is something I've been waiting to react to, which is the statement from Albanese himself. This is like a clip of his statement, at least. I do not know what he's going to say at all. So let's see.
And we don't normally talk at confirmed meetings of the National Security Committee, but I think at this moment it is appropriate to tell Australians that the National Security Committee was convened as a matter of urgency, and we have just come from it. This afternoon there has been a devastating terrorist incident at Bondi at the Hanukkah by the Sea celebration. This is a targeted attack on Jewish Australians on the first day of Hanukkah, which should be a day of joy, a celebration of faith. An act of evil anti-Semitism, terrorism, that has struck the heart of our nation. An attack on Jewish Australians is an attack on every Australian, and every Australian tonight will be, like me, devastated on this attack on our way of life. There is no place for this hate, violence and terrorism in our nation. Let me be clear, we will eradicate it. Amidst this vile act of violence and hate will emerge a moment of national unity where Australians across the board will embrace their fellow Australians of Jewish faith at this dark moment for our nation. Our police and security agencies are working to determine anyone associated with this outrage. Our agencies will provide you with factual updates as quickly as possible as they continue to emerge. The evil that was unleashed at Bondi Beach today is beyond comprehension, and the trauma and loss
I couldn't believe it when I saw the headline. I could not believe it.
that families are dealing with tonight is beyond anyone's worst nightmare. Australians have had their lives cruelly stolen and many have been injured. For all Australians, our first thoughts are with those in the terrible early hours of their grief. We are also thinking of everyone being treated for their injuries, and many of whom are alive right now because of the courage and quick action of the New South Wales Police and the first responders who rushed to their aid, as well as the courage of everyday Australians who, without hesitating, put themselves in danger in order to keep their fellow Australians safe. We have seen Australians today run.
It's interesting he says that, a little bit interesting, just because I've seen a lot of commentary from, I don't know, random people about people are arguing whether the police response was adequate or not. Yeah. So Albanese says it was. So, and there's that.
Towards danger in order to help others.
Yeah.
These Australians are heroes, and their bravery has saved lives. As Prime Minister, I say on behalf of all Australians to the Jewish community, we stand with you, we embrace you, and we reaffirm tonight that you have every right to be proud of who you are and what you believe. You have the right to worship and study and live and work in peace and safety, and you enrich us as a nation. You should never have to endure the loss that you have suffered today. You should never know the fear that you know tonight. We will dedicate every resource required to making sure you are safe and protected. You are Australian, and all Australians are with you.
That's another aspect of it. You know, I wonder what the response to this will be. Will there be more gun control? Will there be, yeah, I don't know. That's just another discussion. You know, a lot of people say it was a fail on the gun control. In my opinion, it really, I wouldn't say that, because, for example, if they had semi-automatic weapons, I mean, it's hard to imagine that the carnage would not have been far worse. And it would have been basically impossible to disarm, heroically disarm one of them. So, yeah, that doesn't seem like a total fail. Now, of course, the fact that 15 people are dead, 16 if you include the shooter, but I don't. Yeah, it's still a sad reality, obviously.
Today and every day.
All right. Pretty good statement. Now, I'm very interested to see some comments from the Australians themselves. You guys. Well, not exactly you guys, but, you know, Australians on the subreddit. So let's see. The poor kids, they would have been so excited for the school holidays and knowing that they'll have the summer off, and now one has died and the others will have lifelong trauma. That's true. The SMH has also reported a developing story in the updates for the Bondi events as per below, which may be related. Why does the world have to be like this? It's really depressing. You know, for a pretty simple comment, I see why that's thumbed up a lot. You know, it really is depressing. It's very sad, especially for it to happen in a country like Australia, who takes a bunch of mitigation efforts to avoid something like this. You know, I mean, really wherever it happens. It's just tragic. And there's so much division in the world right now. It is scary. And, you know, it's particularly sad as someone who, and I'm sure a lot of people might relate to this, you know, it seemed like in the 90s, for example, we were progressing as a world toward less division. Then, I mean, 9/11 was a major wake-up call. And now, a lot of shit has come apart at the seams, unfortunately. Oh crap, my wife and I were there about 50 meters from the shooters, and we were thinking about going to the Hanukkah event. We are Jewish, but we heard the shots and we thought they were fireworks until we saw everyone running and screaming. Jesus. It's interesting to read anecdotal, you know, comments like this from someone just on Reddit. You know what I mean? It shows just how real this is. You know, he says, my mom last night said she was friends with 2 of the people who were killed and knows other in hospital. And then an update, 3 more of her friends died in hospital. And I'm going to end it with just looking over a little bit of this appreciation thread for the hero, Ahmed al-Ahmed, who I should have mentioned was shot twice. So his heroic act did not go unpunished. He was shot, but luckily he was shot in the arm and the hand, so he is going to recover. From 7 News, a relative of the hero who risked his life to grab the weapon off one of the gunmen has spoken, revealing he was shot twice. Speaking outside the hospital, Mustafa revealed it was his cousin, who likely saved countless lives when he wrestled with the gunman. Ahmed was shot twice in the commotion and was due to undergo surgery tonight. Mustafa and his cousin, a dad of 2 who owns a fruit shop in Sutherland, did not have any experience with guns, but was simply walking past when he decided to step in. Damn. It's such a scary thing. I mean, wow. Truly brave. And the fact that he had no firearm experience just makes it, you know, for a lot of people, that would be reason enough to not do it. I mean, most people wouldn't do it regardless, but to not have firearm experience, he doesn't know how to shoot the gun, you know? You disarm him. Most likely reaction is that the dude's going to try to come back and take the gun back, you know? If you even manage to get it away, there's no telling. He didn't know he would for sure be able to get that gun away from him. He was 100% just willing to die to attempt to disarm that man. But yeah, I mean, and then once you disarm him, you don't know how to use the gun. So at that point, he could easily come back and take it back. And then at that point, yeah. So just an unbelievable footage. Some of the most unbelievable, chills-inducing footage I've ever seen. Total legend. Find his store and give that man all the business. Yeah, I have a feeling his fruit store is going to be booming. My heart goes out to the victims and any of you that were there or affected by that in any way. I'm very sorry. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.